Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sweet Science 2, brought to you by Peach Boxing, Gladrap, and All Aspects Drainage. Tonight we have had a stacked 17-fight card, 14 amateur fights and 3 professional fights. We are at the headlining bout of this card between Jerome the Panther Pampellone in the red corner out of Peach Boxing, taking on right now the man in the ring, Joshua Tai, coached by Chris Martin. Calling the action tonight, we have myself, Chop Chad Milnes, and with me, undefeated professional David the Great White Light, 17-0 with 10 knockouts, ranked number 4 by the WBO in the cruiserweight division. Now here's making his way to the ring, Jerome the Panther Pampalone, stablemate of David Light. Interesting matchup we have here. The more experienced Joshua Tai, he has had 17 fights, 5 wins. Now he's had a few losses, 2 of those coming by knockout, 1 of his wins coming by knockout, but he has fought a bit of a who's who in those 17 fights. David Light, what do you think of this matchup?
Well, obviously this is a Tai, one of the 3 Tai brothers, Daniel Tai, Josh Tai, and Jordan Tai. Big hitters, big names in New Zealand boxing scene and kickboxing. But Jerome's been very active lately. He's had a year. He's just gone pro. First he was trying to make the Olympics. That seems to the door is closed on that one for him. But he's had a year, a lot like my first year with Peach Boxing. I had 10 fights in 1 year, and he's just doing fight after fight after fight. So he's having no real time to really have a camp. So it'll be interesting to see how he goes.
Now here's stepping into the ring, the Panther. Now this is being fought at the light heavyweight limit, 79.3 kgs. This is a 6-round bout, 3-minute rounds. Jerome Pampalone in the red corner. He is 6-0 with 4 knockouts. Joshua Tai, 17 wins, 17 fights, 5 wins, 12 defeats, 1 knockout victory. Now he actually holds a win over very experienced bit of a legend here, Gunnar Jackson, beating him in its debut. Quite a good scalp to have on his record.
This is a professional contest sanctioned by BBC, NZ, and will be fought in the light heavyweight division out of 6 3-minute rounds. Your officials at Ringside and judges Arden Gotchin, John Glazier, Darcy Williams, Alal Abraham, and it's also overseen by the supervisor of the BBC, NZ.
Talking about Jerome not being able to make the Tokyo Olympics, a little bit, due to COVID, it's made it harder to qualify, as they haven't been able to have the competitions to fight for those Olympic places. So unfortunately, the method that they chose to decide who those representatives are, he missed out. But very accomplished amateur. He's had 2 New Zealand titles, light heavyweight titles. And in 2019, he got himself a quarterfinals placing in the 2019 IBA World Championships. Now, one of the biggest amateur tournaments in the world next to the Olympics itself. He performed very well at that tournament, beating 3 nations, beating Hungary, Belgium, and Egypt. That Egyptian was a 2016 Olympian and also 2015 African Championships silver medalist. So a very big victory for Jerome against that man, losing in the quarterfinals to a very young, talented prospect from Team GB and Ben Whittaker. just missing out on the podium in that fight. Also by a split decision, so closely contested bout. They met in the center of the ring for final instructions.
You know, if I could just jump in here, it's, you know, people forget that Jerome's only been boxing sort of just about 4 years. Started very late, 18, 19. And, you know, got himself to, he's now beaten, I think, 3 Olympians that are going to the current Olympics.
Including Paulo Alcuso?
Yep.
From Australia. Very, very talented young boxer, also in the light heavyweight division. Southpaw, very slick. Reminds me of Roy Jones a little bit, but Jerome has a win over that man as well. Here we go, Joshua Tai, a little bit shorter of the two men. Experienced. Now he's very tough. He may have had a few losses, but he's definitely come to win. And he's fought a bit of a who's who in boxing. The likes of Blake Caparello in 2009. And to say he's tough, he went the distance with Panuve Helu. He did lose that fight, but he lost via decision, and Panuve Helu is a monster of a puncher. So that shows he's got some grit, he's tough. He's been in there with guys that can throw hard shots.
Helu obviously having the recent victory over Nick Terlimpis on the Parker Far undercard.
Yeah, bit of a controversial one, that one, wasn't it?
It was. He didn't get the decision right away.
He's working on the inside there, Joshua Tai. One of the men in his corner, Richie the Hatchet Hadlow, another undefeated professional, came up earlier. Talked to me and Dave share a little bit of a game plan. The Joshua Tai is coming in, feeling that Jerome Pampellone on that inside there, he carries a little bit of that Philly shell defense, you know, hiding behind that front shoulder with that left hand low and that right hand up. They feel that he doesn't really know how to fight there. He doesn't really fight there. So they plan to use that against him, try to get inside, put him on the back foot, and work in that position. They feel that he's not able to be effective. Thoughts on that there, Dave?
I think that's a pretty good plan, actually. I mean, it feels like with Jerome, you either try and get him right on the inside or right on the outside. It's that mid-range that he is excellent at. And he doesn't just hit you with speed, he hits you with power, and he hits you with combos, and he pulls out and does his phases really well. So I think as long as they're not trying to exchange with him that mid-range, if they're right out or right in, I think that's a good plan. And it seems to be somewhat working.
I see a very patient approach from Joshua Tai. And you're right, Jerome, from that middle range, he's very sharp. Hard to hit clean, looks for those counter punches. But you yourself would know, you've sparred Jerome a lot.
Very much.
So you would know if that is an effective strategy. And also it says, if they've come with a plan, they've really come to win. They've really come to win. They've thought about it. They're applying a strategy that they believe will get them the victory tonight. Very experienced man in the corner there, Chris Martin.
And he hasn't taken, too much punishment in that first round.
Oh, that's it. No, he hasn't really. Spoiling a lot of Jerome's work on the inside. But yeah, they've come to win. Richie made that very clear. Team Thai has come to pull the upset. And of course,
they always do.
That's what they want. That's what we want, right? People coming to win.
So he set a puzzle. He wants to be on the inside now. It's up to Team Peach to make the adjustment. Stop him coming in or catch him coming in and get him in that sweet spot where they can really let their combinations go.
Yeah, this opening round, it's early. 5 rounds to go, but he's kind of shown that he's a little bit nullified the offense of Jerome, so that their strategy, they've seen something and having, a little bit of success. Firstly, not allowing Jerome to get the shots off that he wants to be effective there. Here he is on the inside, but now it's going to be up to Josh. Can he take advantage of that vulnerability that they have identified? Steps in, cops a right hand on the way in. Good sharp counter. Now as he walked in, they were still at that middle range where Jerome is effective. He had a bit of space to land that right hand. He lands a right hand there though, over the top of that low lead.
Yeah, the game plan's definitely obvious. You know, he's like you said, he's thought about it a lot, and he doesn't want to be stuck in that range, and he knows it for too long.
And then he takes a flurry of shots there, staying at that middle distance that the hatchet was talking about. Uppercut thrown there, I think just fell shy of the target. But the hatchet came in very, very, very confident that they were going to pull the upset.
Wonder if the plan here is to just try and frustrate Jerome and really getting him opening up so that they can snag a few punches in between his shots.
So early on, only the second round. Perhaps looking to bank some of these.
You do still feel a little bit more urgency from Jerome, though. He's obviously getting a little bit frustrated with all the tying up.
But he's gonna need these kinds of fights. You know, it's not always gonna be smooth sailing. He's not always gonna have people that are just gonna be there for him to hit with hard punches. Got these guys that are gonna apply strategy, spoil, find holes in the game of the man. And he spoils on the inside again.
Josh trying to keep his head on Jerome's chest so that he doesn't have his head in any range to cop those shots around the side. And it's very effective.
And 17 fights, experience, so the man knows his way around the ring, as do the Thai boys. Fighting family. They know the fight game. Flurry of punches there from Jerome. Getting a cheer from the crowd. Sneaky little right hand on the break. That is the end of the second. But Joshua Thai, very tough. As I said, Blake Caporello. But against Blake Caporello, he also went the distance with Panuva Hilu and also Reese Papuni. Another former Team New Zealand boxer, experienced boxer, big puncher. And also he has a win over Monty Philamaya. Now 2 rounds in, we have 4 to go. Dave, how would you call the action so far? Hard bout, not a lot of clean work from either men, but so far, how would you call the action?
I think, there hasn't really been anything landing that clean from Joshua Thai, but there's been a few jabs and a few right hands that Jerome's been able to get off. But I think Josh is playing a little bit of the long game. He's trying to get him frustrated, and then he's trying to hold him up in there.
Is it using his experience? In the professional game, the referees will let you get away with a lot more, like those little tussles in there, whereas in the amateurs, a few seconds you're in that clinch, they will call for the break. But Jerome landing a nice right hand as Joshua steps into range for the clinch. Now we're almost at the halfway point in this fight. Nice uppercut. I think it fell short of the target, but definitely got the reaction from the crowd. And more wrestling from Joshua Thai. That was part of the plan, to get in there, rough him up. But can he use that against them? So far he's been able to spoil a lot of the work from Jerome, but he hasn't been able to get off much of his own shots.
Well, Jerome creating a little bit of space there as he comes in and getting off a couple of punches. He's also starting to mix it up a little bit more now, going to the body, trying out different things.
Oh, nice uppercut as Joshua walks into range. Now Jerome really sharp on his counter, starting to keep Joshua at that middle distance that he likes to work from.
Yeah, Josh is starting to hesitate, not wanting to dive in anymore. Where that was working for him so well in the beginning.
Yeah, a little bit static.
He's getting stuck in that range, exactly as you say, where he doesn't want to be.
And what I like from Jerome then, he feinted the right hand and led with the left hook. And that little feint just to cause Joshua Tai to drop his chin as if he was going to come in for the clinch. And then took a little left hook, check left hook.
There's
after
little
Jerome fainted.
adaptations to keep your opponent guessing.
That's it. And showing a bit of intelligence, you know. He's a well-accomplished amateur boxer, but still, he hasn't been boxing that long. And showing that intellect this early in his boxing career really shows what the potential for this young man is. Starting to really find his mark in this third round.
And you can see the effect it's having on Joshua Tai.
Yeah, he's hanging on. Nice body shot in close. Joshua again coming in for the clinch. And he's not been able to hold on like he has in the first part of this fight. He's at the end of the shots.
Ooh, misses with the uppercut.
Really nice adaptation by Jerome. Taking away a bit of that clinch with that right uppercut. Seeing that opening, he's had a bit of success there. Now we have hit the halfway point of this fight. 3 down, 3 to go coming into round 4. Like I said, Richie Hadlow came in. A lot of confidence to pull the upset. Do they have a bit more to this game plan? They shared Richie coming in very confident that they see a weakness in the game of Jerome. Richie himself, a undefeated professional fighter here in New Zealand. So accomplished amateur boxer, competing at the 2018 Commonwealth Games. Also an Oceania gold medalist in 2017. 4-time New Zealand champion in the light welterweight division. And also a very, very colourful character in the New Zealand boxing scene.
And huge puncher.
And a huge puncher, massive puncher. Very, very heavy hands.
Which he likes to remind you of.
Yeah, he likes to remind everyone of.
Just as we're speaking, Joshua Tai lands his best combination of the fight. Ended a nice 1-2.
Jerome, nice right hand there, but it seemed Joshua had the left hand up, partially caught on the gloves. But we're past the halfway point. Very good eyes, Jerome. You can see he spies an opening and he's very quick to take advantage of it. He can jump on the moment very quickly. Josh Tai back. Roughing him up on the inside.
He's leading with a few more uppercuts because Joshua is trying to get in close and coming in with his head down.
Yeah, that's right.
He's been very, very effective in keeping Josh at bay.
Yeah, very. He started with that right uppercut that you just see then, and
Josh
recently leading with some left uppercuts up the middle. Now we're past the halfway point in this fight, Dave. How would you call those first 3 rounds? Oh, wicked body shot on the liver of Joshua Tai. But how would you call these first 3 rounds? Try to be as impartial as you can, Dave.
Impartial as I can. I definitely thought Jerome took the 3rd round. But all the action seems to be going up in this round.
Yeah, 4th round, Jerome really started to find some continued success in succession. Where previously some of his success have been in spurts. His experience, Joshua Tai, has come in and spoiled a bit of his game, his mid-range game. But Jerome's starting to find his mark in the fight. Whether you would think that the experience of Joshua Tai, you would think that this would be his time to shine. You know, after 3 rounds, amateurs fight 3 rounds. We're in the second half of the fight, the second lot of 3, and Jerome is starting to make the adaptations.
Yeah, exactly. As I said before, I thought Josh was playing the long game, trying to keep it in close. But it seems to be Jerome who's doing well, coming into the back end of this fight and picking it up and putting it on his opponent.
Showing the maturity of a fairly, what you would say, I guess kind of not inexperienced, but somewhat green boxer to his professional career. Only 6 fights.
But he's had to grow up extremely fast, you know?
No, he has. And having the likes of yourself and Andre Mikhailovich in the gym.
You know, he was still just barely out of being a novice for the 2018 Commonwealth Games, which is why he didn't participate in those games. And, you know, with coronavirus and everything, and then they included the last Commonwealth Games in the qualification for these Olympics. And that's pretty much the reason why he's missed out.
Very, very unfortunate, as we stated earlier.
It just shows you how new he is, not just to pro boxing, but to boxing.
Yeah, to amateur boxing as well.
2018 doesn't feel that long ago. That's my second year as a pro, and I feel like I've just come back.
And of course, in 2019, went to the World Championships and earned himself a quarterfinals placing at his first World Championships, making a statement.
You know, and in a normal year, he would have qualified for the Olympics, but
quite unfortunate for Jerome. But you know, he's left that amateur dream, and here he is chasing the professionals. I'm sure aspiring to great things, looking at a World Championship, I'm sure. Yeah, this is round number 5. We have 2 more rounds left in this fight.
Now, I know you've talked about Jerome's Philly shell, but I don't think I've ever seen a boxer use the Philly shell so aggressively. You know, it's usually a bit of a pick your opponent off, stand back a bit, work the ropes a little bit, but he's really pushing forward with it, and he does that in sparring too.
Yeah, you're right. Typically, the Philly shell is used by defensive boxers. Of course, recently made famous by the undefeated Floyd Money Mayweather, most notable, but many others as well. His father, Floyd Sr., I should know this, Archie Moore, and a few other boxers. Recent we have Tevin Farmer, who stands in the left-handed stance, utilizes a bit of that Philly shell, but most of these quite defensive boxers. But you're right, here we have Jerome. He steps forward aggressively behind that front shoulder, that Philly shell defense. He's starting to find a lot more success in this last half of the fight. This is when he's really started to put a stamp on these rounds. Early, a bit of tussling, not a lot of clean shots in the first few rounds, but here he's starting to find success.
Nice mix of shots. Dropping the left rip to the body.
He's starting to put his punches together and marching Joshua Tai down.
Feels now that Joshua Tai's game plan's changed to just a bit of survival mode.
He comes in but spoils his work. He doesn't have enough space between him to land shots.
Oh.
Misses with a left hook there. Beautiful display of punches there by Jerome. Drops it to the body, gets a bit of space, lands the right hand. But very good eyes, very good eyes. He was about to throw the right hand, saw that Josh came in low, made a little adjustment with his feet, and then threw the short right hook instead of the straight right hand. He's able to spy those little openings and make quick decisions to land effective, clean punches.
He's not breathing heavy at all in the corner, so
here we are in the 6th and final round of this professional light heavyweight bout. Now the last 2 rounds past that halfway point, Jerome has started to take control of the fight, starting to get his hands free, punching in combinations, landing good shots, some nice body shots there. Joshua Tai unable to really make his strategy effective that Richie Hadlow came up to tell us confidently they would make work in this fight.
Well, he always came in as the underdog, but they did have a plan, and you could tell that they came to execute it.
They came to win, and that they came to win. You know, he's had 5 wins. He's had 1 knockout, so it is possible that it can end by the shorter distance. And he's really going to have to do it in the 6th round. He's going to have to try for that knockout. He holds on the inside. He's going to need a bit of space to get that shot. He's going to take some risks.
Josh is still game to throw some punches. He's still trying to make this a contest.
There we go. Here he is, still firing shots. Jerome really selling out on some right hands there. It is the end of the fight. He's starting to try and look for that knockout himself. But Joshua Tai, very tough, very tough. He's been in there with some big punches and he's gone the rounds. Looks like the heads came together in there as Josh jumped in for that right hook.
Yeah, the fight's starting to get a little bit looser. Both boys are really just going for it, doing as much damage as they can.
Sensing that the fight is almost at an end. Starting to put it all out there. Well, you know, adjustments that Joshua Tai could make in this last round. What do you think he could do to have some success? I mean, he has to kind of look for the knockout now. If he was to do that, what tactics would he have to execute to have success here, Dave?
Well, he was doing quite well when he was leading with a long hook and coming over the right hand. He's got to realize that his opponent is trying to knock him out and just catch him while he's distracted doing that. But obviously you run the risk of that happening to you, especially with a killer like Jerome Pampellone. But he came out throwing, and just a couple of shots glanced off, but he's still trying.
No, you're right. Jerome really looking to land hard, vicious punches in this last round. And perhaps you're right. Joshua Tai should look to take advantage of not reckless, but he's taking a little bit less care to throw his shots. He's got the experience. Can he pull it off? Now we have the last 10 seconds of the fight. Not looking likely. A little bit of a sigh of disappointment from Joshua Tai. The feeling he wasn't able to execute his plan that they came in with. Good performance from Jerome Pampalone. Bit of an awkward start to the fight in those first 2 rounds. Not a lot of nice or clean shots landed as Joshua Tai came in to tie up and close the space, trying to execute their game plan. But from that halfway point, Jerome started to find some space, was able to get his hands off, land powerful punches, and sort of closed out the fight in that last half. But I guess also kind of showing that maybe the professional style or bouts might be better suited for Jerome.
I agree. I mean, he was always trained by Peach to be a professional. It was the professional ranks that they were training for always, really. In the end, the Olympics were just a stepping stone to that. So when that fell over, they weren't too bothered, and they just carried on with things. And you can see the fruits of that here.
So Dave, just give me a little breakdown of the 6 rounds. What did you think from round 1 to round 6? Talk me through it.
Well, you can see that Jerome, he's not breathing heavy, he's not that gassed, and I think there was a lot of frustration, a lot of pushing, a lot of coming together, and Joshua Tai didn't want to give him the room to do what he does best, and that's why he's still looking maybe a little bit fresh. So that first couple of rounds, nothing really clean landed, but sort of every round from the third onwards, I would say things started to really open up for Jerome.
All 3 judges scored the contest in favour of the red corner, and the winner, that's still undefeated Jerome, the Panther Pampalone.
As called by Daryl Husband, Jerome Pampellone takes his 7th professional victory, this time by the distance, going the full 6 rounds against the tough veteran in Joshua Tai. Came with a game plan but unable to execute.
He might have been better over 10 because you've got to throw punches to win fights.
Yeah, perhaps a longer distance. He could use his experience. But credit to Jerome, he was the one that finished stronger in the 6 rounds.
Once we clear up for the COVID, the chances all sure start to be enhanced.
Yeah, for sure, but I just want to fight. On that heavyweight level. I just want to keep working. Shout out to Josh for that. Performance with everyone. 6 rounds. Also, see you in the next one.
Thanks to Josh. You might want to say thanks to a few people.
Thanks to everyone for their supporting. Thanks to my family. Thanks for coming. I love you. I'm next 6. And yeah, thanks everyone. Good
to see you.
And there we have it, everybody. Sweet Science 2, brought to you by Peach Boxing, GladrapChannel, and all aspects drainage. An awesome night of fights, 17 fights, 14 amateurs, 3 professionals with the headlining fight, Jerome the Panther Pampalone against Joshua Tai. It was a pleasure to call the action here with you this evening. Chop Chop, Chad Milnes, and David Light. Anything you'd like to add, Dave?
No, it was just well done for Peach Boxing, putting on the great fights, putting on the best amateurs in the country and the best pros, and we're going to be doing it again soon. Can't wait.
Awesome night of fights. But anyway, it was a pleasure to call the action here. There's Chop Chop, Chad Milnes, and David the Great White Light signing out. Stay safe, people.
What's up, bro? Yo. Well done.